Hey, yo, what's up to everybody out there? Welcome to another edition of the Roundtable Talk, and I am your host, C Money, and we are back again at another hotspot in South Florida. We are here in the northeast section of Miami at the Midpoint Shopping Center, formerly known as Biscayne Shopping Plaza. Now, for you Miamians, this was a hotspot back in the 90s, of course, for myself, because this was one of the spots that my family actually came out to shop at. There was a lot of places out here to shop at. If you ever been in this area, you know there used to be a lot of great stores here, and some of them are stores that we now know are gone. Some of them are stores that exist but that is not here no more, but it's a lot. As you can see, we're gonna start over here. This CVS is right here. This CVS been here for a few years, but in reality, the CVS was not here in the 90s. It came in the mid 2000s and things like that. And you also have this little shopping right here where they had several stores. There was a GameStop here. There was a dollar store, if I'm not mistaken. No, not a dollar store. There was a GameStop here, and there was several little shopping stores that was here as well. This tropical supermarket has been here for a while. Now, I can't say it's been here since the 90s, but it's been here for a while. The liquor store, that's been there for a while. The physical therapy unit. Now, over here next to the liquor store once was a Payless shoe store. Now, that's one of the stores that ended up becoming extinct from the area. And you also have a lot of office buildings and offices on the second floor, and you know, a lot of the stuff. This right here, this is the Dollar Tree. Now, that Dollar Tree once was a Family Dollar, but as you know, Family Dollar and Dollar Tree, you know, are owned by the same company. And Didi's Discount, that recently got here, it's been here for a couple of years. Goodwill. Now, Goodwill, the thing about Goodwill, that you see this empty lot across the street, that's where Goodwill used to be at, and I guess they closed and tore down the building that was across the street right there where you see the fence at, and it moved over here. And where Goodwill sat at used to be a store called Metfugals. If you don't know what Metfugals is, it was the first name of a store that eventually became one of the stores we now know that has defunct last year, called Big Lots. Metfugals was Big Lots back in the 90s, and then eventually I believe the name got changed, or I don't know if it's the name got changed or the company got sold, but I know eventually, well, the name did get changed, but I don't know if it's because of the company getting sold or whatever. But in the 2000s, the company Metfugals ended up becoming what we know as Big Lots, and of course Big Lots has closed and things like that. And then there's an art supply, custom framing right there. There's a rent center. The rent center's been here for a good minute. There's a bus stop here for the bus. You know, there's two buses that do. At one point there was only one bus. You know, now there's two buses that, you know, come here. The rent center's been here. You have a beauty supply store. You have a lot of stores that there once was a laundromat here. There's on the other side. I'm going to show you the other side too. Rainbow, I don't know if Rainbow's been here for a while, but I know the only place that I know that have been here, like the Rent Center, I know have been here for a while. And I know that the liquor store and the supermarket has been here for a while. A lot of the other places, they have, you know, recently joined the area. Now we're gonna come up. Now, if you're wondering what Midpoint is, this is off of Biscayne Boulevard in Northeast 79th Street. It is between the Miami Shores and the Miami Design District, or Northeast section of Miami. And right over here we have, you know, this is a medical, and this is a lot of more offices and things like that. And over here is where the laundromat used to be at, and I believe if it's still there, there's a T-Mobile store that's over there. Now, see, a lot of these places that are here now, they was not back here. Remember, this used to be a premier shopping center, and every now and then when I was as a kid, my mom and, you know, Us used to come out here and we go shopping. You know, they had a lot of shopping, you know, stores here and things like that. This is Guapo Juice Bar and Cafe. You know, this McDonald's been here for a while too. This McDonald's that was there for a while. Diddy's Discount. That's the sign. That Domino's been here for a while, but it wasn't here in the 90s. That recently the subway's been here for a while. With the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I believe that's where the laundromat used to be at. And it used to be I believe a T-Mobile over here, but I guess they're not here anymore. This is the dental center and a lot of this stuff, and there's a lot. And if you notice that, I believe this is one of the areas where they filmed the first Bad Boy, if I'm not mistaken. If anybody knows, give me a understanding. This is one of the areas that they first built the Bad Boys. And if you want to know, on the corner of Biscayne and 79th, it has been torn down. There was an original, and I'm gonna see if I can get close to it. It was the original immigration building. We're gonna go close there. Like this building here, I believe was the building that was part of the Bad Boys movie, the first movie, Bad Boys. So, you know, they have that. And this building, as you know, is a building that was built a few years back, because of course this area got gentrified to where now they have high rises and stuff. Okay, this bus right here, 103, that's the bus that stops here inside of the midpoint. There are two buses. There used to be one. This is 103. That takes you from here all the way out to Hialeah Gardens. But that is the bus that comes on the inside. It's going to go around and it's going to stop at the bus stop that you've seen. So now we're going to walk up here. We're on Biscayne right now, walking up to 79th Street. And I did my research a few years back. Not my research, but I did see a video that this once was I think it was a home to some famous person. This used to be a home or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. If you remember or if you know this, please weigh in on the comments. And this is called Biscayne Medical Joseph Our Preparato MD and Associates. I don't know what that is, but if you know of this area, you know, and if you have, you know, memories of this area, just let me know. Comment and let me know what you think. There are a lot of good restaurants. Siam Rice, Thaya and Sushi. There's Austria, Metro by T-Mobile. This is CVS. CVS was here. CVS came in the mid-2000s, because I don't remember what was here, because I don't remember what was here, but CVS was here like in the mid-2000s. And a lot. A smoke shop. You know, there's a Ace check cashing. And things like that. As you can see, this is a bus stop here, and we're gonna go in the back because, you know, I don't want to put people in the cameras and stuff like that. But okay, now we're coming up to the CVS, and this is the closest CVS. And I'm gonna say this, and I'm not saying this to be out of content or whatever. I'm not saying this to be me. This is probably one of the closest CVS you'll ever get to the hood, because, you know, not too far from here you have the little Haiti area and stuff like that, but I'm gonna leave it like that. Now here, right here is where I say this little parking, this little whooped off area is where the old immigration and naturalization, the immigration building used to be. It now sits on 7th Avenue, not too far from 79th, like north of 79th. And as you can see across from there, if you see the little red neon sign, that's Gold Rush. That is a nightclub, aka strip club. And the Wendy's, that's been here for a while. And Biscayne Optical, which at one point I believe was a chained optical store, but it became a mom and pop eyeglass store, optical store, and then there's a food truck right there and things like that. And then of course you have the CVS right there. So we're gonna walk back this way and we're gonna come back. Now, like I said, Midpoint was named. At one point it was called Biscayne Shopping Plaza. And that was back in the 90s and the early 2000s. I guess a lot of these shopping plazas and shopping malls, when they get bought out or when they revamped or get gentrified, meaning when they get a complete makeover, the name changes. Remember, we did a video of Mall of the Americas, which is now called Midway Crossings in the southwest section of Miami. And a lot of the other shopping centers, most of the shopping centers we've been to, and they got rebranded to different names. And this is one of them. It was called Biscayne Shopping Plaza because it was right off of Biscayne and Northeast 79th Street. And then now it's called Midpoint because they try to fit, and I think one of the reasons why they're doing that is because they try to fit names into these shopping centers that fit the areas. Like, we're in the northeast section. We're south of the El Portal village, the village of El Portal, which is a village that's slightly north of here, and then north of El Portal is Miami Shores, and then south of us you have the Little Haiti, the Miami Design District, Midtown, and other areas, and Edgewater and all that other areas here in the area. Now this area, I don't know exactly what is the name of this area, but if you do know, comment, because I know this, I would just say this is the northeast section of Miami. This little sign here, or this little thing here, has been here ever since the Biscayne Shopping Plaza. So yeah, so a lot of these places, like this was a law office, and I believe it still is a law office, but it just looks closed. And that right there it has been switched hands several times as a workout building. And now we're gonna go here and we're gonna go check out the McDonald's over here. Now, like I said, when I was younger, this was one of the spots that my family used to go to for shopping. They had, and I believe there was a Woolworth, if I'm not mistaken here. I don't remember if it is. If it was, let me know. But there was a McFugel's, and Family Dollar, Payless shoe store. You get shoes and stuff like that. And now it became, and of course the office, because they had the second floor, so it was a lot of office buildings and a lot of office things there. So it was a lot there. So it was a lot. So if you know, and this Domino's, I don't remember what used to be where this Domino's is at, but I know this Domino's been here for a while, but it wasn't, it's been here for a while, but it wasn't here in the 90s. See, Subways, U-Fit, Liquor Mart, CVS, Pharmacy. U-Fit is where the GameStop was at, and there were several other businesses like shoe stores and stuff like that was there. There used to be a Bank of America, if I'm not mistaken, over here. Right here, there used to be a Bank of America in this building when this building got first built, and I believe they moved. And over here, this is McDonald's, of course. As you know, McDonald's gentrified itself. And then over here, you have other shopping. We're not going to go far because we're basically only covering the midpoint. This is one of the buses. We're only covering the Midpoint Shopping Center, which is, we're going to take the back way. Across the street is called Arrows Lounge. And I'd never been inside because it wasn't my lounge. That was a gay lounge here in Miami. You don't, come upon stuff without doing research and stuff like that. So now we're gonna come this way and we're gonna go back around. So basically, I'm gonna show you the back end. And there are certain areas, and I believe there is an area back here, if I'm not mistaken, that was also used in the movie Fast and Furious, if I'm not mistaken. If anybody know about this area, in the movie scene, let me know, because I know doing researches on trying to find out areas that was recorded in movie theaters, it's kind of hard to get like stuff like that, because it's kind of hard for people to actually get information on like sceneries. I know that this area was once used for the like for Bad Boy and stuff like that, so I don't know what is what. Now we're gonna go, this is the parking lot, midpoint. So we're gonna go inside this parking lot and we're gonna check out the rest of midpoint. Now if you have been here when it was Biscayne Shopping Plaza, you knew that back then it was a lot more shops and a lot more interesting back then. Like I said, the Goodwill was across the street, on the other side, across the street from Biscayne Shopping Plaza. You know, you had a McFugels, which eventually turned into Big Lots. And I believe the Big Lot closed way before they went out of business, because they went out of business last year, if I'm not mistaken. And this location of Big Lot has been closed for quite some time. This is the back area of all of the shops and stuff. So now we're gonna come over and we're gonna walk over to these shops and we're gonna check out a little bit of them before we head out. And yeah, it was once McFugels, and if you know about McFugels, that means you know back in the day, because McFugels was Big Lots back in the day. You know, it's just the fact that a lot of these stores, they get rebranded with different names. Remember Smart and Final? If you know what Smart and Final is, Smart and Final is now called Gordon's Food Service. You know, there's a lot of these stores that you may say, I've never heard of Smart and Finals, I've never heard of McFugels, you know, but if you hear them, you know, Smart and Finals, hey, that's Gordon's Food Service. McFugels, hey, that's Big Lots. You know, a lot of these stores, they change they names, and a lot of them change because they either get sold off. See, there go the bus right there, and it's about to leave, so it's heading out. So I told you, the bus, it comes in, then it's gonna go back, and it's gonna go. But like I said, a lot of these stores, they keep rebranding back into different, but either they get bought out by see, this is Renaissance. They get bought out by a lot of these stores, either get bought out by companies and they get sold off, or you know, they rebrand themselves into a new name. You know, a lot of, like Winn-Dixie, you know, as you know, Winn-Dixie, a lot of the stores from Winn-Dixie, because Aldi bought out Winn-Dixie at one point, and some of the stores in South Florida of Winn-Dixie got changed to Fresco, which is the Latin Spanish version of Winn-Dixie, and you know, stuff like that. Just like Didi's Discount is part of the Ross family, and Ross been around for a minute. Didi's Discount just started popping up, but they are a part of the Ross family. So a lot of these stores over here has been, and like I said, over here, the building in between the liquor store and the physical therapy, that's probably where the Payless shoe store was. It just never got opened back up to where, you know, and it's the art, it's called ID Art, I'm guessing that's the name of the store. It never got to where it got reopened up as another store. And this is Goodwill. Like I said, Goodwill was across the street, and there's a lot of office buildings and stuff like that, and a lot of things. So yeah, a lot of these stores that was here, that are here now, the only place, like I said, the supermarket's been around for years, and the liquor store has been around for years, and the Dollar Tree got rebranded because that used to be a Family Dollar. And this used to be where the McFugels / Big Lots was. I don't remember if Big Lots was actually here, but I know McFugels was here, and that was Big Lots back in the 80s and the 90s. And then in the early 2000s, it got rebranded to Big Lots. But I don't know exactly if Big Lots was actually here in the 90s. I know eventually they got shut down. And I don't remember if there was a Woolworth here. I just know there was a Payless shoe store. Now, this is the back of Midpoint, aka Biscayne Plaza. So this is the back of it. And I believe there's a building over here that might have been in one of the one of the series of Fast and the Furious. It might have been the first one if I'm not mistaken, because I know it's over here near the water, but I'm not for sure. But like I said, if you know a lot of the recording areas in Miami and where they was at, let me know. I'll probably visit a lot of the areas, because I know some of the areas in downtown was recorded, and some of the areas in downtown Miami and some of the areas on the beach was recorded for the Bad Boy series. But I know Fast and the Furious was the first one was somewhere in Miami, and I know like a lot of the scenes was recorded here in Miami. I don't know about the rest of them and stuff like that. So if you know like a lot of this, and up here was probably another office building or something, and this is parking for Goodwill over here. You can also park over here and stuff like that. But yeah, a lot of this area, things like that, it has really changed, and it has been to where now you don't see a lot of this stuff here anymore, because a lot of businesses, they closed within the last couple of years, or they went out of business. Either because number one, either because they went out of business, or number two is because the business got sold off and got rebranded into another business, or number three, the locations got sold off and gentrified to where they probably closed the shopping center and they opened up as a condominiums and stuff like that, because that's what a lot of these places are doing now. They are buying these shopping centers and rebrand them into condominiums and mixed-use multi-purpose buildings and stuff like that. So this is why. So now we are doing. So now we're going to go back over to the area, and we are going to say this is it. Now, walking this area, it took me 20 minutes because I did double loop back of the area. I did double loop, but it won't probably take you 15 minutes. Yeah, even if you're not going in the stores. Now, this still is a good shopping center because, of course, you have DD's, you have Rainbow, you have Dollar Tree. Now, as far as clothing, because there used to be urban clothing stores as well here, it's not something where you can come and get like some fly ass urban gear and stuff like that. Like shoes, yeah, you're not gonna get some fly ass Nikes or some Jordans or something like that from here, because they don't really have a set shoe store like how they used to have it. And for gaming, because remember back in the day, you can come get a fly, Payless shoe store was back here, if I'm not mistaken, it might have been a Foot Locker here, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know, I can't tell you. But a lot of these stores have been shut down to where, now it's just a regular, you can get some name brand shoes probably out of DD's, but they're not like Jordans and stuff like that. You're probably gonna get some Fila's or something like that. But yeah, you're not gonna get nothing like Jordans and stuff like that. So it is what it is. But all right, this is it. So we are here. If you know about this area, if you've ever been to this area, comment at the bottom of this page. You can also email me, roundtable00@yahoo.com. Let me know if you know about the area. Let me know, have you ever been to this shopping plaza? If you've been down here, have you ever had memories of being in the shopping plaza? Because I've had memories of coming here as a kid and as an adult. In my early adulthood, I remember coming here, and this is one of the spots to go shopping at if you live in the northeast section of Miami. This is kind of like their little shopping mall, because there's no mall in the area, so this is it. If you ever have any information, comment at the bottom of this page. Email me, roundtable00@yahoo.com. If you live in the area and you haven't checked this place out, or if you don't live in the area but you live in South Florida and you want to check it out, come check it out. They have the Real Food Academy. I don't know what that is. I should have mentioned it, because I don't remember what that was before. A lot of these stores, I don't remember what they is. If you remember what used to be in this shopping center, let me know, because I only could tell you, I know there was a Mafugals, there was a Payless shoe store, there was a GameStop, I believe there was I don't know if there was a Foot Locker, but I mean there was an urban store where you can get like shoes and stuff like that, or urban wear. There was a Family Dollar, which is now a Dollar Tree. There were several other stores here, but I don't remember what it is that else was in here. But if you have any reconcile of what was in here, don't hesitate to comment and email roundtable00@yahoo.com. And remember, this used to be a laundromat right there. It's no longer there. So comment at the bottom of this page. I thank y'all for watching. I'm about to go get me something to eat from McDonald's. As always, stay safe, stay blessed, stay hydrated. And of course, I will see y'all in the next video. Take care.